Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to J&J Mondays pre-up show. This is not the official episode yet. That will happen during the end of April with me and Josh Ken back on this channel, on the new Mirrorstein Publishing channel. I'm actually doing a test run, giving you guys a little update on how this channel is going to be run. First off, J&J is going to put a few little changes. We'll be focusing mostly on the current events that are weird and not many people have heard about, as well as some of the culture, the effects, and after effects of what's going on in the entertainment world. First off, no, it's not entertainment roundup extension. It's pretty much a live broadcast and opinionated, both from me and from Johnson's point of view. A lot of stuff will be focusing primary on one major particular subject. We will have guest hosts as well, and pretty much it's going to be done on a week-to-week basis, depending on the um, actual guest, as well as whether my co-host will be done, because this is going to be a two-host show. It's going to be me, Via from Joshkin, and pretty much will be unopinionated, where my opinions and her opinions will pretty much collide. We may not agree with everything. We may agree on everything, but most likely it will be too much opposites, giving us our own opinion on the events today. So that's pretty much why I want to do this. And actually, I want to test how the Google Hangouts is going to be working here, because, as you all know, Google has gone through some changes. As you know, the Google Plus is no longer part of the YouTube circle. They still exist, but not in the same way that we have gone used to. And as a result, the way Hangout is, they're going through some changes. So far, from what I'm seeing here, everything seems to run smoothly, but that consumed change without warning, thanks to our friends at Google. But for the most part, it looks like everything is good. Um, I will talk about something real brief about the election, because I wanted to bring it up through broadcasting anyway. I have seen Bernie Sanders. He was in New York. He was in Brooklyn, Prospect Park. Very, very big crowd, very, very wild crowd in terms of support. And For the most part, I was very happy with what I was hearing. I was very satisfied with what he was saying. And I think for the most part, I think he's echoing a lot of what people have said about how much of a stranglehold the 1% has on not just on politicians, but how how the process and laws and how things are working in our society today. And it's not all for it's not all good for everyone, and I completely understand, and I do agree that there's something has to be changed. The question is how much change, and how much our politicians are willing to work together to make that change possible. These 8 years, I feel that we made some progress, but I feel there's a lot of other progress that has not been done yet. And as a result of that, we not accomplished enough to, I can say, now I'm satisfied. There's still a lot of issues. There's still a lot of people hanging on to old ways, which is really not helping the overall mass of our country. And To me, we need a leader, in my opinion, that can able to not only unite the country, because there's so much that still divides us, but is able to be that ambassador, that representative, that for countries across seas, not just a select few, but pretty much all, and show that, hey, we're all working with everyone. We want to work with everyone, and we want to unite everyone. I don't see that with a lot of politicians right now. I see a lot of them out for their own interests, and is willing to say and do anything to get what they want, including, unfortunately, Hillary Clinton. Which, again, if you want me to pick the two lesser evils, I think she's the lesser evils, but I don't sense that she's gonna make much changes. And the stuff that they asked, a couple of questions, she nearly never answered those questions. She pretty much went around it and focused on her own resume without really being right straightforward, right straight down to earth about how she's going to unite the country. She totally seemed to go back to her experience. that's great that you got, your credentials is good, but people don't want to just go back to your credentials. People want to know straight up, honestly, how are you going to unite us all? How are you going to help us all? How are you going to fix the problems, which a lot of people across the country, not just in New York, has been echoing time and time again. And with the voting process being the way it is and the way people view politicians, it's important that you hammer this through because they can smell BS right away. And I don't feel that that most of the politicians understands nor care enough to actually bring that to the forefront. With that being said, it is a very, very, very much we need to go out and vote climate because right now who we vote will pretty much shows for the next 4 or even 8 years where this country is leading. I'm not very confident in what I'm seeing. There are some things that I do understand a point, especially I can't believe I'm saying this with Donald Trump, with him echoing a lot of stuff. He, of course, have said some things about the voting process, and it's hard to sit there and say he's lying because I felt it from the Democratic side that they already have handpicked it Hillary Clinton to run hands down and no one else. In fact, they have really made it their business to really focus more on Hillary and basically, tell us without even going through the process that she's the winner more than anything else. And I think that Trump has pretty much echoing even from his party, saying that hey, it's rigged because they're trying everything they can, which they are, to make sure he doesn't win the nominee. And to me, it's kind of interesting how the Republicans and are blasting him when, if you look real carefully, you don't have to look hard. The laws they passed, the rhetoric they've been going through, even when he wasn't even a factor in politics, it's very clear that he's a reflection of what that party has become now. Um, my friend, we had a conversation about this, and he's not, he's being a Mexican himself, don't consider um, doesn't consider the the rhetoric that Donald Trump as important nor as serious as he is in terms of him being elected, and he feels that he is electable, which is kind of shocking. But he explained to me that if he becomes president, which is still a 50-50 chance he can, he may flip the script, meaning that everything he says, don't believe what he says because he's going to do something the opposite. And he's doing this to get the votes. And I have to stop and think about it. It's that, he does have a point. He's saying a lot of things that people in their heart to heart believe what he says, not and is actually generating votes for him. He has become that celebrity, that controversial figure that everybody seems to hang on to. Is it dangerous? Absolutely. Would I vote for him? Hell no. But I understand why people want to actually grab onto that, especially with the way he has not just attacked some of the Democratic runners here, but the way he has maliciously and ruthlessly attacked his own party. And people don't have that much of a short memory. When you remind people of why they have a problem with the Bush family, when you have a problem with Chris Christie, and he hammers that down, people tend to people's memory tend to jolt up, and that's why you don't see those people in office anymore. Is it a sturdy tactic? Absolutely. But when you have a resume like Jeff Bush has or Chris Christie have, and a guy who's not afraid to hammer it down again and again and again, when you have multiple, when you have members of the party not doing what they have to do to actually, show their credentials and what they have done, not just in politics, but in terms of credentials, what they've done to the state, how they improve the state. It makes his job a lot more easier, and that's what he actually did. He's not a politician. Trump is. He's a businessman, but most importantly, he's a celebrity, and he has used his celebrity status to his advantage. And that's something that I don't think Ted Cruz have done well, or any of the Republican parties have done well. They have not used their credentials to their advantage because most of them don't have good potential credentials, and two, a lot of them just smoke and smoke. Um, this could be very interesting these next few months. Hands down, I think there's going to be something that I'm going to be looking at from both sides of the cake. I want to see how the Republicans respond deeply on this. They do say that Ted Cruz has been catching up, and he has been winning back and forth. But I feel tomorrow, Tuesday, when people start to cast their vote, I feel that will give us a clearer permanent picture of who our two nominees will be from the GOPs and from the Dems. I think that we will get a clear picture because I do not see, if they do not win a good proportion of the delegates, I do not see how Ted or Bernie Sanders, and a lot of people do want Bernie Sanders to win. If he loses and loses bad, I don't see how you can cover from that. Neither does Ted Cruz. But who knows what's going to happen? Ted Cruz surprisingly has been winning the small states, getting a lot of delegates over there. But it's the major states he needs to be concerned of, and he has yet to actually curve that narrow point down of winning those major states with a whole bunch of delegates. I do know one thing: if he comes in second, the other guy who is running will pretty much be done because he will not be able to get enough delegates to actually continue. So he will be automatically disqualified. Um, that's pretty much my feeling on the whole thing. I've been watching it. I've been keeping an eye on it. To me, it's more entertaining because, again, with with Trump and how he's been running things, to me, a lot of people look at him as entertainment value, and that's fine. But to me, when it comes to politics, I just can't see it. I just don't want to see it. Does he have a chance to win? Yes. Do I want him to win? No. But then again, it's up to the voters. I'm voting them all. I hope you guys in New York are voting for them all. I hope you guys are paying close attention across the globe of what's going on. Uh, Entertainment wise, I haven't yet to see the Jungle Book. So I'm telling you off the bat, I haven't seen the movie. I've seen the animated series. I actually saw part of the first live action film that I think Disney had nothing to do with it. Um, and to see this one be a huge hit, nobody expected this film to make 100 million and they over the weekend. I don't know what advertisement Disney have done if they have done any, but that is a shocker to me that this movie had made that much money. Um, there's been some controversy going on. A lot of people have been stunned about something that happened in the film. Don't tell me what it is. I am going to watch it. I'm going to do a review on it. But again, to me, the reason why I'm kind of surprised is, and I'll keep it right real, I did not think it was a good idea for Disney to go back in time and make their best properties live action. I thought that there were some films that were just great classics that they didn't need to be live action, especially since you can never really capture the feel of what made those animated movies such great movies in the first place. Nevertheless, they've had some success with these films. They may not have been critically successful, but they have been domestically and internationally successful to the point where they're going to keep making it. This is one of those ones I said, okay, this may be their first big bomb. No, it's not. So, um, and obviously they know what they're doing. So kudos to Disney for that. I've yet to speak to Johnston about this because I don't know if he has seen the movie yet. I'm already know what the first episode is because of a show when it kicks off. So, but I'm gonna keep it under wraps because I want her to get a full taste of what that first episode is gonna be. But again, when I heard about the Jungle Book being made a live film and how it's gonna do it, I said, all right, well, let's see what happens. Who knows? But a lot of people obviously wanted to see the Jungle Book. And I'm just kind of curious. Do anybody really know the origin story behind the Jungle Book and how dark the Jungle Book really is? Because a lot of complaints I hear from people when they see their famous fairy tale slash Disney animated films is they don't stay close to the source material. This happened with Maleficent. Maleficent, as you all know, was a completely reimagining of the character. Many people didn't like that. Many people didn't like that she was redeemed in many ways in the movie, making her more of a good person than what she is. And that's fine. I can understand. But some of the argument is they ruined the original source material of Sleeping Beauty. And I said, they ruined that a long time ago when they made the animated movie because it's not based on the I think Brothers Grimm's fairy tale, and the Brothers Grimm fairy tale is dark. Sleeping Beauty is dark. Snow White is dark. There's nothing friendly about those fairy tales. You'd be surprised of how very dark and very offensive. Some of them really are, and how much length they go in terms of revenge. So when I heard Maleficent being made this way, and I seen the movie by the way, and I thought the film was fine. I think Angelina Jolie stole the show, and that really what helped carry this movie. So it has some problems that, of course, I did not like the god those fairy godmothers at all. I think they completely destroyed those characters in favor of making Maleficent more stronger and more of an important character than what they need to do. Nevertheless, I liked the movie. I thought the film was good. I thought Angelina Jolie had made that movie good and carried that film good. And I thought the reversal and how Sleeping Beauty was awakened was very well done and very well put into place. So there you go with that. But again, it's a reimagining, it's a retelling. And one thing about fairy tales, and this is something more to fairy tale than people based on real life events or a real life person, because Disney had that problem with Pocahontas, and even the film I refuse to see, and that's Anne Frank. It's much easier to retell a story in a different way with fairy tales and fantasy than it is with actual living person, because actual living persons, you know they existed, you know there's a history there, and you have to be very careful how you predict it, how you project that type of character in screen, because you can go terribly wrong. This is something reason why people, and deservedly so, have been lashing out on the Titanic movies. And I'm talking about the James Cameron one, because at least with James Cameron, he made it very clear this is historical fiction. These are characters that didn't exist in that in the events, but it's placed in the event. That's fine, as long as you make a note. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. He's a real person, but he is being played in a more fictional way with a fictional situation going on. You can live with that. When you are depicting a event and you spin it for your own personal gain, that's when there's a problem. And Anne Frank, the animated series, had that situation going on. There was nothing happy about the situation with Anne Frank. It was very tragic, and yet they twisted it to make it more than what it really is, and that's my issue with that. With fairy tales, they're fairy tales. I've read 7 different versions of Oz. I've read 4 different versions of Sleeping Beauty. I can live with Maleficent having her own film and having her own take. To me, it's not a big problem, especially if you know the dark past of the story. And pretty much every Disney animated movie, from Little Mermaid, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, these, and even Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I was surprised they actually took a risk with, because if Hunchback of Notre Dame is one story that I can't believe they made an animated film. If you look at those movies, they were based on dark, um, of a dark fairy tale. These are not kids' fairy tales. Same thing with Rapunzel, the same, which is known as Tango in the Disney world. Even Frozen has some dark elements to it. So there's a whole lot of stories they've done, and they reinvented it to make it more kids friendly. And the one thing I will say about Disney, they do it well. They do it well. It works, and to me, that's the plays on Disney, that they can able to take these dark fairy tales and revamp them to make it more kids friendly. And the people, it is so good that people will consider this, not the books, as a genuine thing. And that's kudos to the writers, kudos to the people who adapted to the big screen, kudos to Disney period, because Disney does have a great history of knowing how to retell a story that is more not to dumb down it, but make it to where kids can enjoy it and as well as adults can enjoy it. So there it is. The only knock I got with don't touch the characters that are really based on historical facts. That's all. um, that's pretty much all I gotta say with that. I kept my half for Disney. The live action series seems to be going well. The Beauty and the Beast film is seem like they are still going forward with that, and they seem like they're gonna be doing a lot of more. And to me, I tell you, I'm very very scared because Disney has had a lot of properties they bought over the last decade. But the stuff they're doing right, they're doing right. The Marvel Sith franchise, they're leaving it. They're not messing with. You can tell the Disney style is there, but not to a large degree. The Lucas universe, which I'm hinting, gentlemen, that this is going to be one of the first episodes, not on the Star Wars universe, but just universe in general, because we're seeing a new trend, and this trend seemed to be something that is based on famous franchise. But now we're getting a Star Wars every year instead of waiting 3 years. They have been very, very devoted in that, and it seemed like it seemed like it's working. Whatever they're doing, they really know what they're doing. And despite some of the feedback that many people have with the Force Awakens, you gotta shake your head or nod your head and basically saying, you know what, they're heading in the right direction. All nitpicking aside and the stuff aside with Marvel and Disney, they're heading in the right direction, and they're giving us quality entertainment that we can actually go back and talk to our friends and rant to our friends, and even make theories, which is making me very upset because every time I turn around on YouTube, somebody has a theory about some new Star Wars movies that I really didn't care for, but it's still interesting to watch. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. First, I want to apologize for the camera angle. I am in, of course, in Starbucks. Yeah, I'm talking about stuff to hear. And this is a prelude, an introduction towards the new season on an actual Monday. But I really wanted to get this out. I wanted to do the test run, get a talk about it. Don't get used to seeing me on the camera by myself. J&J Mondays will always be partnered with someone, otherwise it will not show up. And again, on the live streams, even though the J&J Mondays will pretty much be running on Sundays around the 4 o'clock time live, it will be pretty much be given later, doing the pre-recording at a later date, both feeds it by Maddie Expression and on YouTube. It will be held here at Mirror Sign Publishing, Rights Reserve. And like usual, if you guys have any questions or any suggested ideas, whether you're at Matic Expression or here, let me know. Let my partner know. We will look into the situation. We'll talk about the topic. The first episode, I will tell you, the first official episode, will be dealing with universes. We're seeing it in Marvel, we're seeing it in DC, we're now seeing it in Star Wars. Even Deadpool to have his little universe with X-Men. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How will this affect the movie franchise as a whole? Because now having a franchise is not enough. They have to have a big universe, have to have something connecting everything. So, and I don't know what the guy was screaming about, mostly, but uh, this is something that has been on my mind. I'm starting to see it. And I'm seeing if the studio is hungry to keep expanding these characters. Star Wars you can kind of understand, Marvel kind of understand, but are we going a little bit too much into this trend where it's not enough that we have a little trilogy? Now they all have to be connected to some bigger thing. How would it affect other movies in the past? And how would it affect movies going forward? Because even Ghostbusters, even though that film hasn't been out yet, may have their own universe as well, because as you guys, if you've been looking around and the news and updates with the Ghostbusters, they actually have a lot now, a studio lot within Columbia Sony Pictures. And that hints that there's going to be something else going on with a TV series, mini series, or Netflix, or even expanded movies beyond the Ghostbusters core. So this is becoming a new thing now, and me and Josh will discuss about this. Me and Josh again will talk about this, and whether we'll break down the good and the not so good about this. And I like to hear your guys' opinion about this as well. Share your opinion about this as well. So there you have it, guys. That's it. And as always, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon, and see you in 2 weeks. The new J&J Mondays. Take care.